Hi, welcome to day 4. Um, what I wanted to talk about today are just some of the terms that you're going to see on food labels. We talked about kind of food labels and how important it is to look at the actual ingredient list. And so some of the things that you're going to see on food labels, and some of them can be a little misleading. So I'm not an expert at this by any means, but I just wanted to tell you a few. So the first one I want to talk about is organic versus conventional. And so organic is basically if pesticides were used or fertilizers were used there, they were non-chemical, they were natural. And so there can't be any chemically based pesticides, herbicides, or fertilizers used on those plants. They also don't use genetically modified seeds. There's anyway, and then they have to be inspected. Farmers keep records and things are inspected, and they have to be certified organic. So you'll see that certified organic, and so that means it was actually inspected and certified organic. So you're going to see not just organic produce, but there's so many things that are organic. And so if it's not something that's directly taken like a plant, like a produce or a fruit or a vegetable or fruit, if it's an organic item, anyway, it just means that it was made with all organic plants. And so you'll see organic coconut oil or organic oils, and so those plants originally were grown organically. You're going to see organic meat as well, and so it means that so basically those animals are going to be, you'll hear a lot like free range or grass fed, so that so the animals are typically raised not in like yards, like in a big production facility. They're usually just kept out. Free range means, they're not kept in pens. They get to eat whatever. And grass fed, so that's pasture fed. These animals that are actually raised in pastures or range rather than in lots. And then they also can't be given antibiotics or hormones. And so if it's organic meat, it's also hormone free and non-GMO. And so that leads me, I want to talk about hormones and GMOs. But first, so a lot of produce that has a skin, that can't be penetrated, it's probably not as big of a deal, organic versus conventional. And so conventional just means that it was fertilizer was used, pesticides and everything were used. And so I am not going to tell you either way. I just want, in any of these, I'm not going to tell you what way to do. I am just giving you kind of facts about what these terms mean. And so that's the conventional versus organic. And so conventional, just make sure, with all produce, just make sure you wash it real well. And they have produce cleaners out there. I've never actually used any of them, but they have produce cleaners out there. Also, I have used vinegar water though, and that works kind of the same way. Okay, so we'll talk about really fast growth hormones. So growth hormones are hormones that are given to the animals to either produce more milk, like dairy, or to get bigger, or to produce bigger eggs, or uniformity, and that's why they're given growth hormones. And so some people believe that so after we eat the meat or the dairy that has these growth hormones in it, that it can affect us and that it leads to different diseases. And that none of that has really been proven. There's research going on. And so, so you'll see milk, that it says it's hormone free, or different things like that. And so that's what it's talking about, is that no hormones were actually given to those animals that produce that meat or dairy. So then GMO is genetically modified. And so non-GMO is just something that was not genetically modified. And so what they're doing is genetically modifying seeds and making hybrids of seeds so they produce more, so they're higher yields. So these seeds are, like the wheat is producing a bigger stalk, or a bigger, I can't think of what the name is, but more wheat kernels. Bigger ears of corn, or each stalk is growing more ears of corn. And so that's what genetically modified are trying to do, is make the production in the foods bigger, or in the crops bigger. And so but again, people believe that GMOs affect us, that they're creating health problems in humans. And so there's no research. Again, these are just information for you. Another thing I want to talk about is in oils, you'll see the words refined or unrefined, expeller pressed versus cold pressed. And so refining, anything that's kind of like processing, that we've already talked about processing. So refining is usually means high heat. It could mean chemical, to refine, to get smells out, to get color out, to really get all the oil from whatever you're extracting it from, the olives, coconut, nuts, or whatever kind of oil it is. And so unrefined is it's not going through that process. So in this, I am going to give my opinion. I do think unrefined is better, because with anything that's heated, you lose nutrients for the most part. And so the way that they refine it, unless it says unrefined, is probably going to be always better. So then the other one is cold pressed versus expeller pressed, and I think both of them are probably good choices. So expeller pressed is like a screw, they're put in in a press, and the screw action is what presses that oil out. But it is still done pretty coldly. It doesn't heat up very much. It's not heated in and of itself. It's just the only heat that comes from it is the heat from that expeller, from the friction of that. And then so cold pressed is just pressed, and it's called cold pressed because it doesn't heat the items very much, but still it's there's just a minimal difference between the cold press and expeller press. But you definitely want to look and see that it says expeller pressed and cold pressed, so that's kind of what to look for in oils, in like your coconut oil, olive oil, your nut oils, your seed oils, avocado oil. So just make sure it says one of those, expeller pressed or cold pressed, and unrefined. And so those are just some terms. I was trying to think of some other ones, but I couldn't. So if you guys have any other questions, put them in the comments and I'll try to answer them. Hopefully that helps. There are so many new words coming out, and they're kind of use fear tactics to get you to go one way or the other. And so I am going to let the decision be up to you. I'm not going to say either way, but so just research it. Just really do what you feel. Obviously, all those non-GMO, no growth hormones, grass-fed, organic, they're all gonna cost more, and but it's up to you if you think it's worth it. So hopefully that was helpful. Let me know what you think.